In 2023, anime reached new heights with spectacular sequels like Vinland Saga Season 2 and Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, defying skepticism and delivering incredible action. New titles such as Oshi no Ko and Frieren shattered records on MAL with their gripping premieres. And let's not forget the epic conclusion of Attack on Titan's final season. With 2024 aiming to match this excitement, here's our top 10 best new anime list. Number 10. Dungeon Meshi. First up, we have Dungeon Meshi, in which a knight named Leos Tudin leads a small group of adventurers through a huge underground dungeon filled with dangerous creatures and traps. Sometimes magic can bring back explorers who die, giving them another chance to explore the dungeon. But when a dragon eats Leo's sister Fallon, who can use magic, she sends Leos and his friends back to the beginning to save them from dying permanently. Despite not having any money or equipment, Leos decides to keep going through the dungeon to rescue Fallon before the dragon can digest her. Some of Leo's friends leave him, but two stick with him: an elf named Marcel Donato, who can use magic, and a small man named Chilchuk Timms, who's good at picking locks. Because they don't have much money, the group might run out of food before they finish their quest, but they meet Senshi, a dwarf who's good at cooking. Thus, they decide to eat the monsters they defeat, which helps them survive. With Senshi's cooking skills, Leos and his friends keep going through the dungeon, learning about fancy food and getting to know each other better as they go. Now, this is a show coming from the wildly popular Studio Trigger, known for their free and expressive styles of animation. The show has started airing this winter season, and just from the trailers released for it, one can definitely tell this is something different to the usual horde of mediocre fantasy anime we get every season, with a bland, repetitive story and 5 out of 10 animation. It's being directed by Yoshihiro Miyajima, who's worked on many past Trigger shows like Cyberpunk Edgerunners and Darling in the Franxx, with Bump of Chicken singing the opening, which you already know is going to be a banger. Make sure to check Dungeon Meshi out now, whether it be because of Studio Trigger's amazing past works or its unique concept. Number 9. 'Tis Time for Torture Princess. In the ongoing war between the Imperial Army and the Hell Horde, the princess, armed with her legendary sword Excalibur, gets captured and locked up. But what kind of torture does she endure from the chief demon interrogator? Well, it's nothing but delicious food. Freshly baked toast that's fluffy and warm, and piping hot ramen. It's a real struggle. Can the princess resist these tempting treats and protect her kingdom's secrets? Find out in 'Tis Time for Torture Princess. We can have as many action-heavy or compelling story-based shows, but sometimes all weaves want is a light-hearted, fun little show that eases your mind. 'Tis Time for Torture Princess is Studio Pine Jam's newest project, and if you're not aware of them, then their past works have been great slice-of-life shows like Kubo, Won't Let Me Be Invisible, and Do It Yourself. It's already started airing as well and has received fairly positive reviews, and just judging from the release trailers and PVs, it definitely feels fun and interesting. With the amazing voice actress Haruka Shiraishi, who's lent her voice for roles like Sarah from Mushoku Tensei, Serpa from Golden Kamuy, and Mira Su from World's End Harem, voicing the main character, or Princess Haim. Shizuka Ito, whose popular past works include Akino Haimjima from High School DxD and Sugo Akita from Gintama, voicing Torture Torter. Yes, that's her actual name. This is feeling like the new comfort anime of the season, and you don't want to miss out on it. Check out the trailers and PVs to find out whether the concept floats your boat, or just directly go give it a try because it's really fun. Number 8. My Instant Death Ability. Next up, we have My Instant Death Ability, in which the protagonist, Yajiri Takatu, wakes up in chaos and destruction during a school trip. He realizes that his entire class has been transported to another world, but he strangely slept through the whole thing and missed out on receiving any special abilities like the others who were given powers by a mysterious sage. To make matters worse, he and another classmate were cruelly left behind by their friends as bait to distract a nearby dragon. Although Yojiri isn't particularly concerned about dying, he reluctantly decides to protect his lone companion. After all, a mere level 1000 monster doesn't stand a chance against his hidden ability to cause instant death with just a thought. If only he can manage to stay awake long enough to use it. Just from hearing this synopsis, I feel that you can definitely find this one is different from the typical fantasies and stands out from the crowd to some extent. Not only does the show's premise hold immense potential, it's being made by Studio Okurudo Noboru, who are also set to animate the upcoming, widely anticipated anime of the popular manhwa viral hit. The production quality may feel like it's not all that, but the premise really sells you on it and makes you want to give it an episode or two. Other than that, the main lead, Yojiri, is being voiced by Kuki Uchiyama, who's lent his voice for popular characters like Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, Izumi Miyamura from Horimiya, Tsukishima from Haikyuu, and Shigaraki Tomura from My Hero Academia. Now that's a big portfolio. The second main character, Tomochika Dinura is being voiced by Miyu Tomita, who's voiced famous characters like Ino Miko from Kaguya-sama. Love is War, Ebisu from Doro, Riko from Made in Abyss, along with the fan favorite Karana from the 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You. I feel like I've listed off enough reasons you should check my instant death ability out, so make sure to give it a watch. Number 7. I was reincarnated as the 7th prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability. Prince Lloyd didn't start out as royalty. In fact, he remembers his previous life quite well. He was a sorcerer, in a way. So when he was reborn, he chose to keep studying magic, whether he was a prince or not. But being born again comes with its own difficulties, like being only 10 years old. What's a young prince and sorcerer to do with all these challenges? Yes, another fantasy isekai show. I know, we will probably be getting this along with 50 other fantasy isekai shows in spring 2024, but this actually looks like it's got some potential in it. Despite the studio not having been disclosed yet, at least according to the official site, the show is being directed by Jin Tamamura, whose work on several JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episodes in the past and on shows like Kokoro Connect and Persona 5 the animation. Other than the creative side, the voice cast seems particularly stacked, with Makoto Koichi voicing the main lead, Prince Lloyd. Her past works have been as Sadao Mao from The Devil as a Part-Timer, Shizuku from Undead Girl Murder Farce, and Junichiro Kubota from Tomo-chan as a girl. With her, we have Fairuz Ai voicing another main character. Rim and her past works are stacked with power from Chainsaw Man, Jolene from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean, and Delta from The Eminence in Shadow. Despite looking like an average, mediocre fantasy anime, a deeper look really shows the amount of potential it holds, and I really hope it lives up to the expectations set, because it genuinely looks like a lot of fun. If all this interested you, then make sure to check out the trailers and add I was reincarnated as the 7th prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability to your watch list for the next season, which is spring 2024. Number 6. Quality Assurance in Another World. Nicola is a humble village girl employed at the local inn, until the sudden onslaught of dragons shatters the tranquility, leading her to cross paths with Haga, an erudite scholar driven by insatiable curiosity. Haga is part of an exclusive consortium known as the Seekers, dedicated to resolving various crises unsettling their otherwise serene realm. However, both Nicola and Haga harbor secrets that will profoundly impact each other's destinies. While it may seem like the 5th fantasy anime on the roster, we're drawn to titles with potential. Despite its seemingly randomly generated name, this series piques interest, perhaps due to its absurd title. Quality Assurance might not sound thrilling, but therein lies its charm. Compare two titles, I Ascended to Kingship in Another World versus Quality Assurance in Another World. The latter seems oddly appealing. Let's delve into the tantalizing details of the show. Studio Palette, known for their unconventional takes on the fantasy genre exemplified in works like Kamikatsu. Working for God in a godless world, handles animation. The director, Kayuma Baki, renowned for contributions to numerous Gintama episodes, leads the project. The voice cast boasts stellar talent, with Hinaki Yano and Rie Takahashi portraying the female leads. Hinaki Yano, recognized for her role as Momo Sawaki in Wonder Egg Priority, and Rie Takahashi, celebrated for voicing Amelia in Re:Zero, Megumin in Konosuba, Ai Hoshino in Oshinoko, and more. Don't miss out on Quality Assurance in Another World. It's shaping up to be something special. Number 5. New Saga. After an intense fight, Kyle, a swordsman skilled in magic, manages to defeat the Demon Lord despite sustaining severe injuries. As he's on the brink of death, he stumbles upon a relic that belonged to the Demon Lord, which unexpectedly transports him back in time. After overcoming the initial surprise, he decides to take advantage of this chance to prevent the mistakes of his past and grow stronger than before. New Saga honestly looks to have the most potential out of the past 3 fantasy shows that aren't confirmed bangers. It's being directed by Norikazu Ishiguka, who's worked on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Overlord in the past, and is being animated by Yokohama Animation Lab, who've been dropping some really great underrated bangers recently, like The Witch and the Beast and The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. The voice cast is also looking really solid, with the main character, Kyle Leonard, being voiced by Yuma Uchida, who's also Suma from Fruits Basket, Megumi from Jujutsu Kaisen, and Kawaki from Boruto. Hiro Shimono, on the other hand, is voicing Suren Layla from the main cast, and has also voiced Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, Dabi from My Hero Academia, and Connie from Demon Slayer. So far, the show's broadcast date and release slate hasn't been revealed, but make sure to keep your eyes out, because this definitely feels above the bar of quality set by the average seasonal shows, and one to jot down on your watch lists. Number 4. Chain Soldier. Yes, finally time for some actual plot. Chain Soldier revolves around Yuki Wakura, who after graduating from high school, realizes it's been 5 years since his sister disappeared during a catastrophic event known as the Mato disaster. Across Japan, strange portals have opened to a dimension called Mato, a city filled with dangerous monsters called Shuki that threaten humans. However, a new hope emerged with the discovery of Mato fruit, granting supernatural abilities exclusively to women, enabling them to fight the Shuki. This led to the formation of a new matriarchal government and an organization called the Anti-Demon Corps, forcing men to the bottom of society. When Yuki finds himself trapped in Mato, he can't escape on his own. Just when he expects to meet a grim fate at the hands of the Shuki, a girl in military attire appears and saves him. As the leader of the 7th unit of the Anti-Demon Corps, Kyuka Yuzin is ambitious but undervalued by her colleagues due to her unique powers. Faced with a life-or-death situation, Kyuka sees an opportunity to unlock the full potential of her abilities by using Yuki, and tells him to become her servant to help defeat Shuki. Chain Soldier is one of those shows that was hyped to infinity and beyond by manga readers and has been really interesting so far. The anime is doing a good job adapting the manga and has been one of the most watched shows this season. It's a bit of an outlier as well because it has plot while still having plot. The story and plot progression along with the main cast is genuinely interesting, while the plot TV scenes never fail to arouse something in its watchers. There's a high chance you're watching it already, but make sure to absolutely check it out if you haven't yet because it's genuinely really fun. Number 3. Bartender. Glass of God. In the quiet corners of the Ginza district lies Eden Hall, a solitary bar run by Ryu Sasakura, a talented bartender known for crafting the most remarkable cocktails imaginable. However, discovering Eden Hall isn't something just anyone can do. Instead, it's the bar itself that seeks out its patrons. People from different walks of life, each burdened with their own troubles, stumble upon this place. Yet Ryu always creates the perfect cocktail to comfort and advise each troubled individual who walks through his doors. Bartender is the kind of cult hit manga that we all love. Every person that's read it seems to love it, and the show genuinely looks to be amazing. It's looking like the sleeper hit of the season, and the people behind it aren't disappointing at all. Firstly, it's being directed by Ryuichi Kureya, who has worked on Overlord Season 1 and Grand Blue as an episode director. It's being animated by Studio Liber, a relatively new studio, whose only other work is The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague, which aired last year and was received relatively well by audiences. As for the voice cast, the main lead, Ryu, is being voiced by Takuma Terashima, whose most popular characters include Shiro from Log Horizon and Shintaro Kizaragi from Mekakushi Actors. A female supporting character, on the other hand, one of the patrons I doubt, named Miwa Kurashima, is being voiced by Yoshino Nanju, who's performed a variety of different characters. Judging from the trailers, they seem to be really nailing the vibe one would expect from a manga like this, and the direction and overall atmosphere seems to be just perfect. The one cherry they can lay on top is if the music is able to convey the tone and vibes of the show perfectly, but I honestly think this is going to be one of the best shows of this year, so make sure to add it into your watch list for spring 2024. Number 2. Kaiju no 8. For years, monstrous creatures resembling Godzilla, known as kaiju, have been appearing across Japan. To protect civilians from these threats, the Defense Corps, an elite military unit, bravely faces these monsters on a daily basis. Once a kaiju is defeated, sweepers from the Professional Kaiju Cleaner Corporation are tasked with disposing of its remains. Kafka Hibino, a 32-year-old man, feels unfulfilled in his role as a sweeper. Since he was young, he's dreamed of joining the Defense Corps and fighting kaiju. After several failed attempts, he gave up on his aspirations and settled for a mundane job that paid the bills. However, when a determined 18-year-old recruit named Leno Ishikawa joins his cleaning team, Kafka is reminded of his desire to enlist in the military. After a series of unfortunate events and an encounter with Leno, Kafka faces a parasite-type kaiju that forcibly enters his body, transforming him into a humanoid monster. Empowered by his newfound abilities, Kafka decides to pursue his lifelong dream one last time. Every year there's a show people anticipate breaking Twitter, a show filled with amazing action and fight scenes. In other words, a show that is being adapted from Weekly Shonen Jump. Deveshje is known to have some of, if not the biggest new-gen shows every decade, and we're entering the new lineup with shows like Mashal, Undead Unluck, and of course Kaiju no 8. Being animated by Production IG, a massively popular studio behind shows like Haikyuu, Psycho-Pass, and Legend of the Galactic Heroes, there's little to no doubt in people's minds that the hype scenes are going to go hard. Pair that with the director, Shigeyuki Miya, who's worked on High School of the Dead, Hajime no Ippo and Vinland Saga Season 2, and you've got yourself a contender for Anime of the Year. You know, the voice cast is also filled with amazing names, with Masaya Fukunishi voicing the protagonist, Kafka Hibino, and Pharaoh's Eye voicing Kikoru Shinomiya, a delightful-looking character from the main cast. There's literally no doubt this anime is going to be a banger, so make sure to get hyped for it since it's dropping next season as well. Number 1. Solo Leveling. A decade ago, humanity faced a critical moment when mysterious portals called gates began appearing worldwide. These gates connected to other dimensions inhabited by monsters immune to normal weapons. Alongside the emergence of these gates, certain humans gained superhuman abilities and became known as hunters. Tasked with entering the gates and clearing the dungeons within, many hunters formed guilds to ensure their survival. Sung Jin-woo is an E-rank hunter, considered the weakest among all hunters. While exploring a supposedly safe dungeon with his team, they discover an unusual tunnel leading deeper into the dungeon. Tempted by the possibility of treasure, they venture further, only to encounter unimaginable horrors. Despite the ordeal, Jin-woo survives and discovers that he now possesses an interface visible only to him. This mysterious system offers him the power he has always desired, but it comes with a price. Well, we literally just moved from one hype show to another, but what did you expect? Solo Leveling is probably the most popular action manhwa and has received an anime adaptation that's been following through with the hype so far by adding extra original scenes that help flesh out the characters more, adding bits and pieces to the story that make a lot more sense, delivering some amazing looking fight scenes, and by soothing our ears with a Halo AP soundtrack composed by the legend Hiroyuki Sawano. Seriously, A1 Studios already had an amazing track record and they've been doing amazing so far, which is why you should check it out without a doubt, because I'm sure you won't regret it. Well, that's it. These were the top 10 best new anime of 2024 according to us. Make sure to subscribe for more amazing content, drop a like and comment any shows you want to add to this list, because I'll see you next time.